So apparently, something changed recently. Just take a look at it, right? If we take a look at Caffeine AI, which is one of the flagship products of Dfinity, of course, did you see a recent change lately in regard to their theming and branding in terms of the color scheme? It used to be neon green or lime green, I should say. Now, it's a totally different colorway. And I think this right here showcases that Dfinity, and by extension Caffeine AI, is taking more of a serious approach. It seems like now they're even noticing the small details. And I'll talk about this and why it could maybe matter for the future of it, even though nothing I say is financial advice and I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my personal overview, review, and perspective when it comes to this. Now, if we take a look at it, previously, again, the color scheme was lime green or neon green when it comes to Caffeine AI, and that was fine. It was fun, it seemed exciting, seemed very joyful, but now they're taking a more serious approach. They're taking more of this professional vibe, which makes sense because initially I think they wanted to create this attention when it comes to Caffeine AI, but now they want things to be a little bit more serious. Let me just give this example real quick, right? I used to use an orange G-Shock. Now, my G-Shock right now is completely different, as you can see. I got this one in Japan, but my main point is that I used to use an orange G-Shock Rise Man, and you can actually search it up. It looks pretty cool, but eventually I just got tired of it. I just thought it was kind of a distraction to me. A lot of people noticed it, and I just thought, okay, you know what? I'm done with the orange G-Shock. And then I got this, right, from Japan, the G-Shock GW5000HS. And I think that's similar to what happened here when it comes to Caffeine AI. They got a little bit tired of that neon green or lime green, I should say. Now they're changing it, which is not a bad thing. This new logo color scheme is now similar to Stellar, right? Stellar is a very massive project. It's now similar to Quant. It's also now very similar to the color scheme of BitTensor, which is a project that's really focused on AI. So again, they're just doing these small details that sometimes people don't really think about, but I'm seeing that. And people like to say, well, it doesn't affect the fundamentals of Caffeine AI. Some people may argue. They're like, okay, it's just the color scheme. Who cares about the logo and stuff when it comes to the branding of Caffeine AI? I get why some people may think that way. But at the same time, it's like, for instance, if I walk inside a job interview or something like that, would I be using like a tank top? I mean, it depends on the job, but I don't think I would, right? Most of the time. Like, why would I do that? So in this case, when I take a look at Caffeine AI, I just like the natural progression that they're doing. I think now they're caring a little bit more about simplicity. So I do like seeing this. And again, if I take a look at it as well, their new design is more like timeless, if we think about it, right? And this kind of aligns well with the whole ethos of Caffeine AI version 3, because imagine, right, there's already version 3 when it comes to this. Because if we take a look at version 3 in terms of the updates, it was like a better design system, a more consistent styling and all this. So the brand image is changing, which I think is pretty cool. But again, these are the small details that could matter moving forward. Now, people like to say, well, the internet computer is still at around $2. Who cares about this? Well, it didn't just happen, right? This change when it comes to the color scheme. It happened, quite recently, but not too long ago. And people like to say, well, it didn't really matter. But these small details could matter eventually moving forward. Now, I get it. People like to say, well, this is a stretch, but we have to consider Dfinity, they're working on a lot of things. They're looking towards the launch, or the full-on launch, I should say, of cloud engines, which through that, they're going to be focused on the cloud market, a market that is currently worth around $1 trillion. They already have Caffeine AI. They already have OIC version 2.5. Let's just let that sink in. That recently happened. And then also on top of that, we're talking about the upcoming DEX when it comes to this, right? Because Dfinity, they're planning a DEX, which is called multi-DEX. A DEX is basically an exchange that is decentralized. So yeah, I mean, they're still doing a lot of things. And with the internet computer being at around $2, what that only means is that it's actually way cheaper than a lot of points in 2024 and 2025. But actually the fundamentals are improving by a whole lot. So in 2026, it wasn't such a bad time, I think, for the internet computer. They improved a ton, in my opinion. Take a look at, again, launching Caffeine AI version 3, OEC 2.5. We take a look at, the potential launch, or the potential full-on launch, I should say, of Multidex, and also that of Cloud Engines. So they're planning for a lot of things in 2026, and also they've done a lot of things as well in 2026. So it's not like they've done nothing. That's actually not the case. And if I take a look at it as well, the Internet Computer, what I find pretty impressive is that there's something called Mission 70, right? Now, that's a strategic plan to cut the Internet Computer inflation by up to 70% by the end of this year. So if we think about that right there, they're ramping up the burn when it comes to the token, which is actually a pretty impressive thing, because if we take a look at it, the Internet Computer has no set maximum supply. It's infinity. So of course, Mission 70 greatly helps, in my opinion. Now, people like to say, but who cares? The price charts aren't really moving that much. But here's the thing, the market overall isn't doing the best. This can't go on a rally of its own. It just can't do that as of right now. No matter if there's Mission 70 or whatever, yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult, but it's going to actually set up the Internet Computer for the future, right? Because imagine if there was no Mission 70, a lot of people would complain and say, oh, the tokenomics are really bad. But then with Mission 70, it's helping the tokenomics of the Internet Computer, but sometimes people like to complain and say, oh, it's not enough. So what is it? Would they rather have that or not have it? Now, personally, for me, I'd rather have Mission 70. I'd rather have a mechanism or a feature or whatever when it comes to any project that could mitigate any sort of potential inflation, because if, let's say, it becomes deflationary or the inflation is recontrolled, it's ultimately a net positive, in my opinion, especially moving forward. Why would that be a bad thing? It doesn't make sense. So when people like to say, oh, Mission 70 is not good and all this, but my thing is, I'd rather have it than not. So I guess I can't really complain. But also at the same time, the Internet Computer is around 9 times lower than its peak in 2024. I mean, if it could just even go to half of that, I'm not saying like, go back to around 19 bucks or whatever. Let's just say going to around half of that. So around 4.5 times away. Even if it just goes to that, I'm already pretty excited, actually. It doesn't mean it will, it doesn't mean it could, but actually also around $19 isn't even considered that good anyways when it comes to the Internet Computer. So if it goes to like around $9, which we saw back in November of last year, it's not such a tough task. It's not like we've never seen that before. We just literally saw it less than a year ago, and we're around 4.5 times lower than that currently. So as of right now, I'm still waiting, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But recently, seeing that, I guess, redesign when it comes to Caffeine AI, even though it was kind of not such a major redesign, but an important one at that, I thought it was just pretty cool, so I felt like talking about it. And clearly, they changed something. So yeah, I wanted to talk about it. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very amazing day.